K-drama cycle begins. Valentine's Day came and went, but for fans watching closely, something felt off in the best way possible. The timing, the silence before the reveal, the sudden shift in how GINJAY were moving in public, none of it felt accidental. And now, the truth is slowly surfacing. This Valentine's Day wasn't a coincidence at all. Their lead series had already been locked in. Weeks before February 14th, industry insiders began whispering about a sealed pairing, a duo whose chemistry tests were so strong that the network didn't even bother with alternatives. Scripts were quietly revised. Scheduling blocks were adjusted. And behind closed doors, GINJAY's names were already sitting side by side on a production board marked confirmed. What fans didn't know was how carefully the rollout was planned. Instead of a loud press conference, the team chose something softer, warmer, a date that already carried emotion. Valentine's Day gave the announcement a romantic disguise, making it feel spontaneous, even intimate. But insiders say the deal had been finalized long before the flowers and heart emojis appeared online. And that explains the clues fans missed at first. The sudden overlap in schedules, the identical timing of their media training sessions, the way interview questions subtly shifted from future projects to working with familiar partners again. Even their body language changed. Less guarded, more confident, as if they already knew what was coming and were simply waiting for the world to catch up. Sources close to the production revealed that the series isn't just another romance. It's being positioned as a career-defining lead project, one that leans heavily on emotional tension, slow burn intimacy, and the kind of unspoken connection GINJAY are already known for. The creative team reportedly built key scenes around their natural dynamic rather than forcing chemistry through the script. That's rare and risky, but when it works, it changes everything. Which brings us back to Valentine's Day. Fans thought they were reacting to a reveal, but in reality, they were stepping into a story that had already begun weeks earlier. The smiles weren't nervous. The posts weren't playful guesses. They were signals, confirmation without words. And now, the anticipation is exploding. Because if the lead series was already locked in, if Valentine's Day was just the opening move, then the real question is this: what else have they been preparing in silence, and how close are we to seeing it unfold on screen? This isn't just a comeback. It's a calculated return. And for GINJAY, 2026 may be the year everything finally aligns. Collision clapperboard. If you want, say continue, and I'll take this deeper into the series plot hints, fan theories, and why insiders believe this pairing could dominate the year. The more fans dig, the clearer it becomes. The Valentine's Day reveal was only the surface. What's unfolding underneath feels far bigger and far more intentional. After the announcement, industry watchers noticed something unusual. Other rumored pairings quietly disappeared. Casting discussions that once included multiple leads suddenly went silent. One by one, alternative names were pulled from shortlists. According to people close to the production, the creative team stopped shopping chemistry altogether. They already had what they wanted, and it was GINJAY. Behind the scenes, table reads had reportedly started even before the public knew a series existed. Not full rehearsals, but emotional alignment sessions, the kind usually reserved for veteran leads. Script advisors were brought in to deepen character backstories, tailoring emotional beats to how GINJAY naturally react to each other. This wasn't a plug-and-play drama. It was being custom-built. Fans also began revisiting old footage with fresh eyes. Moments that once felt casual, shared glances at events, familiar laughter during group interviews, the ease of standing side by side, now looked like quiet confidence, as if they weren't speculating about a future project, but already living inside it. Then came the scheduling shift. Both stars suddenly cleared overlapping windows in mid-2026. No solo projects announced. No conflicting endorsements. Just a clean, shared timeline that pointed to one thing: a long, demanding shoot. Insiders say the series is planned as a high-episode commitment, meaning the production expects it to carry the network's momentum for the year. And this is where fan theories really start to heat up. Some believe the story will explore a reunion trope, two characters bound by a past they never fully resolved. Others think it's something riskier, a mature romance with moral conflict, where love isn't convenient or clean. What everyone agrees on is this: the tone is different. Less glossy, more intimate, the kind of drama that lingers after the final episode. Even the marketing strategy hints at confidence. No aggressive teasing, no overexposure, just carefully placed silences. Because when a network believes in a pairing, they don't rush. They let anticipation do the work. And now, fans are starting to ask a different question. If GINJAY's lead series was locked in long before Valentine's Day, if the chemistry was strong enough to reshape the script itself, then maybe this project isn't just about ratings or buzz. Maybe it's about defining an era. An era where GINJAY stopped being potential and start being the standard the couple other pairings are measured against. And as 2026 inches closer, one thing is becoming impossible to ignore. This story didn't begin on Valentine's Day. That was just the moment they let us see it. As weeks passed, the silence around the project only made the noise louder. No teaser posters, no concept photos, not even a working title. Yet behind closed doors, the machine was already moving. Sources inside the network revealed that the series had been granted something rarely approved on a first announcement alone: extended pre-production time. This wasn't a rush job designed to ride a trend. Writers were given room to rewrite, rethink, and reshape entire arcs, specifically to protect one thing above all else: the emotional journey of GINJAY's characters. And that choice says everything. Usually, scripts are locked before leads are finalized. Here, the opposite happened. The leads came first. The story followed. Casting directors reportedly screened supporting actors not just for talent, but for how they shifted the energy when placed beside GINJAY. Anyone who disrupted that balance was quietly removed. The goal wasn't drama chaos, it was emotional gravity. The kind that pulls viewers in without shouting. Then came the first leak. Not a photo, not a clip, just a single line from an internal document that found its way onto fan forums. Their connection should feel inevitable, not explosive. That sentence alone sent fandom spiraling. Inevitable meant slow burn. It meant longing. It meant two people orbiting each other long before they touch. And suddenly, old interviews resurfaced. Fans noticed how often both GINJAY members spoke about wanting to try quieter roles, characters who listen more than they speak. One mentioned being tired of flashy romance. The other talked about wanting a role that hurts a little. Put together, the picture sharpened. This wasn't going to be a fantasy love story or a loud melodrama. This was shaping up to be something restrained, where the smallest gestures would matter most. A hand hesitating. A breath held too long. A goodbye that doesn't feel final, until it is. Meanwhile, brand activity around both stars subtly shifted. Endorsements leaned softer. Public appearances became minimal. Interviews stopped hinting at what's next. It was as if both were protecting a secret they weren't allowed to speak aloud yet. And perhaps the most telling detail: the network's internal calendar reportedly marked the series not as launch content, but as a flagship emotional anchor for 2026. The kind of drama meant to stay in conversations long after it airs. The kind that creates edits, rewatches, debates, and divides audiences between those who felt it and those who didn't. Now fans are starting to understand something crucial. This isn't a project built to go viral overnight. It's built to age well, to be remembered. And as whispers grow louder and the first official teaser looms somewhere on the horizon, one truth is settling in. When GINJAY finally appear on screen together, it won't feel like a debut. It will feel like something that was always meant to happen, and simply waited for the right moment to begin. By early spring, the industry began to notice what fans already felt. The silence was no longer empty, it was intentional. Insiders started describing the project with a phrase that rarely gets used lightly: emotion-first production. Every department, from cinematography to wardrobe, was reportedly instructed to serve the story's emotional temperature rather than visual spectacle. No dramatic lighting tricks. No exaggerated styling. Just closeness, stillness, space for feeling. And that decision quietly changed everything. Instead of rushing into press tours, both GINJAY members were said to be attending private workshops. Not chemistry tests, those were done long ago, but emotional alignment sessions. Scenes were read without cameras. Lines were spoken without scripts. Sometimes, nothing was spoken at all. Just two people sitting across from each other, learning how silence could carry weight. One staff member leaked a detail that stopped fans cold. They were told not to act like they're in love. They were told to act like they're afraid of it. That single instruction reframed the entire project. Suddenly, every rumored plot detail made sense. The story centers on two people whose lives intersect at the wrong time, but in the right way. Not star-crossed lovers, not enemies to lovers. Something far more uncomfortable, two people who recognize each other too quickly and know the cost of acknowledging it. And here's where the Valentine's Day reveal begins to feel less like a coincidence and more like a warning. Valentine's Day wasn't chosen to celebrate romance. It was chosen to contrast it. While other couples posted flowers and confessions, GINJAY released nothing. No joint message. No playful nods. Just a quiet, coordinated absence. Fans now believe that was deliberate, mirroring the very tension the series is built on: connection without permission, affection without safety. Then came another shift. Industry trackers noticed that the drama was slotted for a non-competitive time window. No head-to-head clashes with blockbuster releases. No overcrowded lineup. The network wasn't chasing rating spikes, they were giving the show room to breathe. Room to grow. Room to break people slowly. Behind the scenes, the final script draft was reportedly titled not with a name, but a phrase. What we don't choose still chooses us. That line hasn't been confirmed publicly, but fans have already claimed it as the soul of the story. And now, as the first teaser edges closer, whispered to be nothing more than two silhouettes passing without touching, one thing is becoming clear. This isn't the kind of series you binge and forget. It's the kind you think about days later, weeks later, when something small in real life suddenly reminds you of it. And when GINJAY finally stand face to face on screen, the question won't be, do they end up together? It will be far more dangerous than that. It will be, what does it cost them if they do?